Hello, my name's Emma Ormond. I'm the Landscape Conservation Area Manager for the North East of Essex.
And I'm Mike Bones, Landscape Conservation Area Officer.
And we're here today at Oxley Meadow near Tolson Knights. So Bones, why is Oxley Meadow so special?
It's special because this is an unimproved grassland wildflower meadow, which means it's had no fertiliser or anything artificial put on it. That's declined, those have declined by about 97% in the past 50 or so years. And this wildflower meadow is absolutely chock full of various and many species of flowers. Most notable is somewhere in the region of above 50,000 orchids in about April time.
Wonderful. Sounds complicated to manage.
Not at all. It's really simple to manage. All we do is cut it for hay once a year, and then any regrowth is grazed by sheep in the autumn.
So why do you cut it for hay?
We cut it for hay because it's very important to keep the nutrient level low. The reason for that is that a lot of the more rank species like stinging nettles or rougher grasses will thrive on rich nutrient soil, whereas these fine grasses won't do so well. So we encourage them by keeping the nutrients low by taking the grass away.
So it's the opposite of what you do in your garden. You take the compost away, not add it.
Absolutely the opposite.
Wonderful.
So why are we here today?
We're here today to check if our management is working. We don't just want to cut it for hay and graze it and just assume that we know what we're doing. We want to actually check that we're doing the right thing.
And how are we going to do that?
We're going to do a survey, which I think a lot of people might be terrified to hear, but you don't actually have to be a botanist to do a survey. Sometimes a quick look, a rapid grassland assessment, is enough to give you an indication of whether the management is working.
And how do we do that?
I'm going to show you. What we're going to do is we'll select an area of land and we'll A rapid grassland assessment is really simple. All you need is a wildflower guide and somewhere to record your findings. Pick a route, ideally in the shape of a W, and stop 20 times on that route, recording what you can find in approximately a metre circle around you. Some of your findings will be positive. They'll tell you that what you're doing is right. Some of them will be negative, which might suggest a change to the management of the grassland. Let's see what we can find. So Bones, what have you found at stop 1?
We found some good positive indicators so far. Quite a few in this little spot. Here we've got knapweed, no flower yet, but luckily I know what that looks like without a flower. That's a positive indicator. Sheep sorrel is this one, another positive. Everyone I'm sure knows what this one is. It's Meadow buttercup. That's neither positive nor negative, but it's not a bad thing. Right down here, a little harder to see. There's a bit of red clover there, that's a good sign. We've got ribwort plantain down here, and a few other little bits coming up. Here we've got So Emma, have you found anything at this stop?
Yep, stop number 4. This is also full of positive indicators, which is great. So we've got lots of red clover here. A lot of it's going over, probably because we're having such a dry year. There's more of the sheep sorrel that you mentioned here. Quite a lot of sheep sorrel at this stop. Ribwort plantain coming up just down here. And this here is called birdfoot trefoil. It's not in flower yet, but when it does, it has beautiful, very small, sort of red and yellow flower heads. Some people call it eggs and bacon to remember the red and the yellow. So that's a really nice find to have a patch of that. There's quite a few orchids here. They've gone over a bit. They've gone to seed, but it's good to see them here amongst the grass. amongst lots of fine grasses as well. There's lots of different species of fine grass here. So Bones, this is stop 16. What have you found?
Some more positive indicators. Plenty at this time of year of these meadow buttercups. But one that is interesting is we found your eggs and bacon plant in flower from before. So if you remember, this was the bird's foot trefoil. So called because when it has seeds, they're 3 long pods, look like that, like a bird's foot. What's interesting here as well, just as a side note, is you've got what looks like spit on the plant. That's called cuckoo spit. It's not actually cuckoo spit, but people used to associate it with cuckoos because it appears at the same time as the cuckoo starts calling. It's actually made by something called a froghopper nymph. A froghopper is an invertebrate, nothing to do with frogs. It lays its eggs there and the young bite into the plant and fuck up all the sap. It helps keep them protected and moist. Got some more knapweed coming up here. Lots of fine leaf grasses again. Also, and the variety of grasses is a good sign as well. It's not just one kind of grass like you get on a football pitch. Maybe you just get ryegrass. Here we've got, I can see, Yorkshire fog. We've got sweet vernal grass, fescues, foxtail, false oat grass here. It's actually like oats. So there's a lot of different kinds of grasses. Negatives we've got here. This might surprise some gardeners. We've got a dog rose growing here. A lovely, lovely plant, but it belongs in the hedge, not in the middle of the field. And picnicker's friend, Mr. Creeping Thistle.
Stop 20. I've got some sheep sorrel.
Yep.
What have you found?
Check sheep sorrel. Our good old friend the meadow buttercup again.
Wonderful.
Lots of fine leaf grasses.
Oh look, an orchid gone to seed just here.
Oh, another one here.
One there, wonderful.
A few, yeah.
What's this then? Is this bird's foot trefoil coming up again?
That is, yeah.
It is, isn't it?
I think there's some over there, not in our quadrat, which is flowering.
There's some red clover, annoyingly, just outside of our little circle. But good to see it anyway.
Yeah, a couple of negatives in here. A little bit more hawthorn coming out of this hedge behind us, and a bit of bramble. But we are pretty close to the edge of the hedge, so that's fairly to be expected, really.
Lots of species creeping out. I've got a tiny, tiny little oak sapling here, which normally is lovely to see, but not in the middle of our meadow.
No.
So this area isn't quite as good as the main field, is it?
No.
Is that management, do you think?
I think it's more the situation. I think it's very overshadowed. It's got a lot of trees putting a lot of nutrients into it. But it is generally improving from what it was when we took the site on. So I think we're doing something right.
So if we continue to do these surveys year on year, we should track a positive result.
Absolutely. These orchids, for example, when I first joined the trust in the dark ages 15 years ago, there were no orchids in this bit of the field, and they've spread from the other side. So we are doing something right.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Keep it up.
Yeah. Well, us and the sheep, eh?
Us and the sheep.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So we're all done. What do the results show?
We are all done. Pretty good. Out of our 20 odd stops, we've got very high numbers of positive indicators and pretty low numbers of negatives. So it's a good result.
So we can be confident that what we're doing is working for the wildlife.
Absolutely. We're confident what we're doing is working for the wildlife.
Brilliant. So we'll cut the hay again this year and then graze with sheep in autumn.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. So this is really exciting. I think it's really good to know that we've got such a good management for this site.
It is. It's very exciting.
Anything else that excites you?
Yeah. 30 Days Wild begins today.
Hey,
1st of June today
30
when
Days
we're recording
Wild.
this.
What's 30 Days Wild then?
30 Days Wild is get out and do something in wild every day for 30 days. And if you want to send us in a video or Facebook or Insta of what you've done, all the better.
Check out our social media. Use the hashtag 30dayswild. Stay wild.
Stay wild.